Welcome back to the dopamine shift. If you joined us for our last episode, we explored how dopamine triggers have evolved from music, TV, and cars in the 1970s to AI-driven content, short-form videos, and digital experiences in 2025. But what's next? Today, we're taking an even deeper dive into what dopamine will look like in 2035 and how we got here. I'm Tom, founder of Marketing for Heroes, and I'm once again joined by trend watcher Abby. Abby, welcome back.
Thanks, Tom. I'm excited to continue this conversation. We've seen dopamine triggers shift over decades, from physical and social experiences to increasingly digital and personalized engagement. But the next frontier is something entirely new: direct dopamine manipulation through technology.
Exactly. Before we dive into 2035, let's take a step back and break down how we got here. Can you walk us through how dopamine triggers evolved decade by decade?
Of course. Let's start in 1975. Back then, dopamine was all about music, television, and cars. Rock music, live concerts, and radio hits were huge dopamine drivers. TV was expanding with shows like Happy Days and Saturday Night Live becoming cultural phenomena. And owning a car meant freedom. Muscle cars, road trips, and status symbols like the Ford Mustang.
Fast forward to 1985, and things started shifting toward video games, MTV, and consumer culture.
Exactly. The rise of Nintendo, arcade gaming, and home consoles like the NES made interactive entertainment a new dopamine source. MTV revolutionized music consumption, creating fast-moving, high-stimulation experiences with music videos. Shopping malls became the epicenter of consumer dopamine. Brands like Nike and Sony fueled a desire for status and self-expression through purchases.
By 1995, the internet and mobile phones had entered the picture. How did that change dopamine triggers?
The internet introduced instant access to information, chat rooms, and email, early versions of dopamine loops we now see in social media. Mobile phones made instant communication possible, while coffee culture, fueled by Starbucks, became a lifestyle dopamine boost. The idea of being always connected was born.
Then in the 2000s, we saw the rise of social media, iPods, and reality TV. What impact did that have?
Social media platforms like Facebook and MySpace introduced dopamine loops with likes, comments, and shares. The iPod revolutionized music consumption, putting thousands of songs at our fingertips. Reality TV created a new kind of emotional dopamine hit, blending drama, competition, and audience interaction.
Moving into 2015, smartphones, streaming, and influencer culture took over. What made this period so different?
The smartphone put dopamine access in our hands 24/7. Streaming platforms like Netflix and Spotify introduced binge consumption, making content endlessly available. Instagram and influencers gamified social validation, turning likes and followers into status markers. Dopamine was now not just instant, it was personalized and optimized for engagement.
That brings us to today, 2025, where AI, short-form content, and hyper-personalization dominate. But looking forward to 2035, we're seeing an even bigger shift. What's coming next?
In 2035, the biggest dopamine triggers will be brain-computer interfaces, BCIs, AI companions, and hyper-immersive digital worlds. Instead of engaging with screens, people will experience dopamine stimulation directly through neural technology, personalized AI relationships, and fully immersive digital environments.
Let's break these down. First, brain-computer interfaces. How will they change dopamine manipulation?
BCIs, like Neuralink, will allow people to stimulate dopamine at will, whether it's enhancing memory, boosting motivation, or experiencing artificial pleasure. These devices will offer on-demand neurological control. The potential is enormous, but so are the risks. If dopamine can be triggered instantly, addiction could reach new levels.
That's a huge ethical dilemma. What about AI companions? How will they shape our behavior?
AI companions will evolve beyond chatbots into hyper-personalized relationships, mentors, friends, or even romantic partners that provide constant emotional validation. The dopamine from AI-driven social interactions could become stronger than real-world relationships, reshaping human connection entirely.
That's a major cultural shift. And finally, hyper-immersive digital worlds. What can we expect?
We're talking about virtual environments that are indistinguishable from reality. Whether for work, entertainment, or social life, people will spend more time in AI-generated, hyper-personalized digital worlds. Dopamine highs will come from experiences designed to keep users fully engaged, making real life feel less rewarding by comparison.
So the big question, will BCIs, AI companionship, or immersive digital worlds be the dominant dopamine driver of the 2030s?
I believe AI-driven emotional feedback loops will have the biggest impact. Whether through AI companions or fully personalized virtual environments, our dopamine triggers will be tailored to our deepest needs and desires.
That's a powerful insight. And for marketers, this means adapting to an era of hyper-personalization. Brands that understand AI-driven dopamine triggers will be able to create deeper connections with consumers.
Exactly. Marketers will need to embrace AI-driven personalization while balancing ethical concerns. Consumers will expect engagement that feels tailored to them, whether through immersive experiences or AI-driven content. The key will be creating value, not just addiction.
If you want to learn more about trends in marketing, follow this podcast or contact Marketing for Heroes at www.marketingforheroes.com. Thanks for listening, and until next time, stay curious and stay balanced.